Hello, this is Josh Hunter. I'm presently on the planet Earth. Got a couple of things I need to say. So last night I was sleeping and I had this dream. I was at like some type of it was like a banquet or a celebration or something, and everything was pretty normal. And I don't know. It was like I don't know. It's just like a normal dream or whatever. And then all of a sudden, like the dream turned like everything turned. What is it? Everyone at the banquet suddenly became like zombies. Like they just suddenly became like just like these monstrous, terrible zombies, and it was so sudden. But it was like, in the movies, like you always know like when things are gonna turn to shit, like and when things are gonna like, especially in scary movies, they always give you some type of cue that things are gonna become very scary. But like in this dream, it wasn't like that. It was like like it's like I thought I was in like some type of like romantic comedy or something, and it suddenly turned to like some nightmare film. And I woke up suddenly. I don't know if I've ever had a dream. Well, I have not very often had a dream where I was suddenly like scared. And when I woke up, I wasn't scared, but oddly enough, I felt. I don't know if it actually happened. I mean, it's possible, but I mean, it was like if there was something that was scary enough to kill someone, this was it. Like it was that. Like I recognized how scary it was, but it wasn't scary to me because anyway. Uh, but it's almost like when I woke up, I felt I could be being like presumptuous or whatever, but I'm pretty sure I felt someone die. Like it was that scary. Like if anybody who was not prepared, like if they're like, let's say theoretically there are like very nosy people like who just want to like you know watch things that have nothing to do with them. I almost felt as though somebody died having observed this dream that I was in, and because I felt like it was something that was so inherently frightening as to cause someone to leave the body. Like you know how like in that movie The Ring, the very first Ring. Like I'm not sure how many of you saw that movie. But I remember the first time. I mean, I saw that in theaters, and the first time we saw that girl's face, like oh, she got scared to death, and like when they show that girl's face with that fucking sound, like it was terrible. that was so. It was one of the most terrible things I've ever seen. But like it was like that. Except even that would be less scary technically because I mean you already know that you're watching a scary movie. But it's like to be in like some category of film, and then suddenly you're in another category of film and you didn't even realize it. Like from it to turn into from a comedy into a horror is I think more frightening than to just be in a horror film. So I no, I gotta be honest. I'm just having a slight reaction. For, like all day long, people have just been loud and loud and loud. Like I don't know. Do I know what's going on? Do I know? Do I know? I've like it seems as though people who pass by are being as obnoxious as possible. They're being as obnoxious as they possibly can, and I don't know. I don't know what to do because like these don't seem like people who value their lives. They don't seem like serious people. When I say serious, a serious person is someone who values their life. They take care of their life, like it was some type of a rare plant or something. These, I don't know what's going on. I mean, I know what's going on, like in the macro scale, but I don't know what's going on within these people. Like I don't. This guy just fucking comes up to me, all right? He says, "Oh, you want some scotch?" I'm like, "Hell yeah, I want some fucking scotch." He's like, "All right, get a cup. I'll give you some scotch." So I go, it turns out I had some bread and some money that I just had left nearby, and so I said, "All right, here's a whole loaf of bread, and here's some fucking money." I went and I got a cup, and he's like, "Oh, I don't want the bread." I'm like, okay. And then like I tossed it back in the trash, and then I fucking came back, and he's like, "Well, don't toss it in the trash. I'll give it to the birds." And I'm like, "What you? You just fucking saw me get it out of the trash. Like, what the fuck, you know?" And like I don't know. And then basically, and then he didn't, and then he didn't give me any scotch, no liquor whatsoever. And like this type of thing, like I don't know why people are so I don't know. It's like they've never been very scared. I mean, this is like an aspect, I guess, when you're a kid, you think your parents are always going to be there for you. You think who's ever protecting you is always going to protect you.
How you doing?
But you know, you don't.
How you doing, sir? Yeah, Biggie, how you doing?
You think your parents are always going to protect you, but
Where's my parents?
sometimes
I have no parents.
eventually you grow up and then you realize, oh, wait a minute, nobody cares about you. That doesn't happen to me though, because that didn't happen to me though. I don't know. I enjoy whatever I have, and like I said, I've already done everything that I would ever want to do. It's just like I do not understand the people who now reside on the earth. I do not understand them. I don't understand their motivations. I don't understand what their place is in all this. Like I don't understand. Like I can't. I can't. I don't know. It just seems like there's. I don't think that I'm better than anyone. Let my tone and my words not be. Perceived as being like, oh, I'm better than. It's like I literally cannot. Like, how could you be so unaware of what the consequence of this is going to be? Like, how could you really not see? And I guess, I mean, that's the same thing with me, because there are certain things I'm very oblivious to. Except there aren't people constantly telling me, like, oh, you better fucking get your shit together. Like the coronavirus, like COVID-19, like this thing. This was like, there's nothing surprising about this. That, hundreds of thousands of people, would get sick and die like this, like in some kind of unstoppable way. Like, yeah, of course that would happen. Like, what? And I'm not referring to, the Christian prophecies of doom or any religious prophecies as though, things are guaranteed to go to shit. I mean, it's basic mathematics. People who do not value their life, who do not take life seriously, the kind of people, for example, like anytime you see a guy or like a group of young people, if the skateboarding by and they decide to like skateboard over, like do like and jump over like a homeless person or something. That's someone who doesn't value their own life. That's like a very direct indicator that this person their life doesn't mean anything to them and doesn't have any value to them. The type of people who will just constantly yell and scream nonstop, no matter what you tell them, no matter what you do, they just will not stop screaming. These are the type of people who do not value their life. People who ride those chopper motorcycles, they do not value their life. And, I'm not trying to criticize them, but like, for example, I mean, the motorcycle is an extremely dangerous, extremely dangerous vehicle. And then the chopper, I mean, the ones that make an extremely loud noise, like just an extremely loud noise. Like, not only are they, driving very fast and they don't need to, like, all they have is a helmet and maybe some, whatever to protect them. Not only are they unconcerned about their own life, they are unconcerned about the noise pollution that occurs when they drive those loud hogs through the city. They don't have any idea what it feels like to be a baby and hear that. Nobody does. Or anybody with sensitive ears, and they don't care. And that's what I've come up across this so many times. I'll come up against someone, and they'll be smoking a cigarette or something, and I'll tell them, oh, don't you think you shouldn't be smoking cigarettes during the time of this COVID-19? And I said, don't you care about, it's like, don't you care about how it's going to affect other people? And they say, no, I don't care. And that's the thing that I don't understand. Like, how can so many people not care, not only about other people, but not about themselves? That's the thing that is kind of hard for me to believe. I don't know. I don't understand why, how you could live in this world and not care about anyone, and to just trample over every good thing in the world. And I'm not. I can't even really even get upset. I mean, the only thing that makes me upset is how much is going to hurt them. Like, how much is, like, when they realize what's. I know I've said this tons of times. I'm gonna keep on saying it. I want to make sure that, like, there's a record here that I was fucking doing my utmost to make sure that, and even if I want to make sure that there's a record that I did my utmost to make sure that if there was even one part of a person that cared about their own life, that I tried to, locate that part of that person or those people that cared about their life, and I don't know, make them care a little bit more. But and because people they're still like walking around outside. They're just like, oh, dude, what virus? Like, what? Okay, it's a virus now. Then what about the next thing? Okay, like, these are steps. Like, when you think of. Alright, so anyway, I just thought of it. Another thing I'd like to bring up, this probably doesn't mean very much, but yeah, no, never mind. I don't want to. So anyway, like I said, I'm just, like, normally I would just be, like, at home. Like, if I had a house right now, you would never see me outside. Not even once. I would never go outside. I would take this quarantine as to its strictest interpretation. Social distancing inside, you got it, pal. Because my life means something to me. You understand that? Like, I am a casual person, but, like, I'm casual because I know I've done my homework. I know I've done my work. Okay, and you have to do the work. That's like that. My casual attitude comes from having done personal efforts, and the fact that there are still people riding bikes outside, and just like, what the. This is one of the most bountiful countries in the world. There's a great supply of food, a great supply of great, natural scenery, we natural wealth. Like, everything here is abundant, and people disrespect it by not valuing their own lives. By every time I see a person, like people walking around on the streets, like, screaming, oh, I beat the coronavirus. Like, what are you talking about? It's still here. There are thousands of people dying every day. There's like, they say it's like a 9/11 a day, September 11th, every day. And you beat it? Yeah? Okay. I don't know. Maybe. I'm not going to do my usual ending like I normally do. It seems like it would be like an affront to humility. I guess it just makes me, like, I feel like I'm very, like, yeah. Anyway. When I get my house, I'll be sure to be as grateful as I can possibly be. If I'm not mistaken, I will be the most grateful person who ever existed once I get my house. The most grateful that anyone could be for having proper long-lasting housing. Thank you very much. Thanks for watching.